Andre Farkas might be a genius. He might just be one of these type of blenders like Jesus from Martinez Cigars that just gets hold of tobacco and creates masterpieces. Just really knows how to do things and hype the cigar by releasing a limited release and just getting everyone scurrying looking for these cigars. And I'm talking about Viaje cigars. And this particular Viaje cigar can't get any simpler in the band. I mean, it's just a white band, 6 1/4 by 54 Toro size. Proprietary blend is what is listed. Aganorsa is where it's manufactured. The belief is that it's a Nicaraguan puro, but hasn't been confirmed. Not by Andre Farkas, at least. And it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's just, I'm into just about the first inch, and so far I've been enjoying it greatly. Bacon spices, mild pepper, and some sweetness. I've had this cigar in the humidor at about 60, I'm going to say about 66, 67 RH for about 3 months. 3 months, exactly. And I've been itching to smoke them, but I did want to give them, and I've got several of them, and I did want to give them a lot of time. Now, I'm a classic cigar smoker in the sense that for most of my cigar smoking life, I've basically smoked the tried and true classics with a few exceptions here and there. But I've got to give credit where credit is due. Cigar reviewers that I watch, guys in particular, I have to point out, and maybe it's also a little bit about youth and how the younger smoking generation is gravitating towards certain boutique brands and just kind of smoking these cigars and reviewing them and allowing maybe an old school guy like me to find out about them. So Brother T from Velocity Cigars, he reviews a lot of cigars like this. I know that Heartsin Cigar also does, excuse me if I fumbled that just a bit, wrench. I know that he does a lot of the Ezra Zions, which are also a boutique blend. And then you've got guys like Stevie from the Cigar Show and Carlos from My First Cigar, who kind of do a hybrid. They'll kind of mix it up. They'll smoke some old school classics, and then they'll smoke a few current blends and brands that are out. But when it comes to the and I can't forget Jeff from Aromatics, who also does a lot of Viaje cigars, and also I think Jeff is probably closest to me in the sense of we like our old school cigars, our old brands, but then we'll do reviews on certain trendy cigars. But I can't take any credit for it. Like I said, I'm really new to these boutique brands and these one-offs and limited edition runs, because I really started to know more about it when I was watching Velocity cigar reviews. And not that other cigar reviewers haven't reviewed trendy cigars. I know that Carlos from My First Cigar has done it, and I can name a bunch of them. But it just seemed to me that every time I went to Brother T's Velocity cigar reviews, he was reviewing something that was, you couldn't get it anymore. It had run out of stock, sold out, and it was a very limited run and things like that. And so I just started to I said, I got to find out what the heck is this all about. This young buck is obviously onto something, and I got to find out what he's onto. So I started buying some of these cigars, stocking and putting them away so that I could review them at a later date. And this is one of the first that I've had in my humidor that I felt like it's ready to crank it out. Viaje, Frank Castle, and I've seen it listed as the Skull and Bones Frank Castle, but there are no Skull and Bones on this one. So I'm thinking it's just, and then my description on my receipt was just Viaje Frank Castle. That was it, nothing else. So, whatever. Simple white band. Colorado Maduro wrapper is the color. And I'm guessing, and just from what I'm tasting, Nicaraguan tobacco. It's very smooth. It's getting creamy. I've got light pepper. I've got some sweetness, some baking spices that pop in and out. It's got a very chewy mouthfeel to it as well. And look, this cigar is super packed. I was worried about a tight, firm draw. It's slightly conservative right now, but it is acceptable in every way. It's smoking well. Smoke output decent. Aroma rich. Burn line, no issues whatsoever. And as you can see, this cigar is very well constructed. I'm gonna keep enjoying this. I'm getting some coffee along with some chocolatey notes. And I'm really loving this part of the cigar, at least what I'm tasting right now. Love chocolatey notes. Who doesn't, right? In the coffee is just very deep, rich. I would call it, one of these dark roasted coffees. The drawers opened up a little bit, providing a little bit of more smoke output, and man, the aroma is very, very good. What I keep getting over and over is this blast of coffee, dark espresso, dark roast coffee with these hints of pepper and a lot of baking spices on the backbone. Really, this is it's well balanced. It's medium to, I'm gonna assume it's gonna go medium plus, medium full, but it's not overwhelming in the nicotine sense. I don't think it's too strong a cigar, but it's definitely packed full of flavor, and definitely on the higher medium end in terms of strength. My brother would be very upset if I didn't mention that Frank Castle was a Marine whose family was murdered and in turn proceeded to dish out some serious vigilante justice, thus becoming the Punisher. It was his favorite comic book, one of his favorite comic books, when we were kids, and because he loved it so much, I grew to love it. And eventually, the two of us were buying these comic books, and he'd get first dibs to read it, and I'd get second, which was not the norm. Being the older brother, I was accustomed to having first dibs on just about everything. But when it came to the Punisher and the comic books for the Punisher, My brother always got first dibs, and he made sure that was the norm. And I went with it because I realized that it was his love for the character that got me interested in it. So I kind of respected that. So whenever you have a cigar named after superheroes or legendary characters, fictional characters in this case, you're gonna have some people that are just gonna be interested in the name. In this case, the name of this cigar, whether it's the Hulk or Bruce Banner, like some of the other Viaje cigars that are out there. Hey, listen, it worked for Hollywood, right? So it's gonna work for the cigars, and I just think it's not really the name so much, but it's the quality behind the cigar that really attracted me, and so far it's well worth it. So are these cigars worth chasing after and scouring the internet for? My answer to that question would be yes. They're worth it. I mean, don't sell one of your body parts to get one of these cigars, but they're absolutely phenomenal. And you know, the whole thing with blenders and cigar companies hiding where the tobacco is coming from, it's nothing new. It creates an air of mystery, and to some degree, it kind of lets us know that, you know, he's very secretive about his blend, which again is not as important as the final finished product, which is amazing. Yes, look for them. If you can get them, get them. Should you get more than one? Yes. Should you get a box? Up to you after you've had some of them and you've determined that they fit your flavor profile. But they're absolutely great cigars. I don't know the age of the tobaccos included. I don't know if we're talking about aged tobacco here. I know that they're getting very good tobacco because the missus walked by, smelled it, and was like, I want to try that. And she did. And she said, man, it's sweet, creamy, and a little pepper. And that's kind of spot on. It's, you know, it's driven by this coffee flavor then that follows by what began with a chocolatey note, and then you have these baking spices, and really, perhaps because I left them in the humidor for 3 months, the pepper is not as potent, but you feel it a little, but it's very very mild pepper to what I thought I was going to experience. And then you've got, you know, these flavors working together so well. The aroma's top notch. You might be tempted, you might be, to, you know, just stab a little bit and open up that the draw. But you know, I would tell you, don't do it. Don't do it. Let it be conservative in the beginning. Let it burn as it should. As long as it's not hampering the experience, don't poke it. Let it be. And you're going to see that by the time you get to the second, third, it opens up a little bit more. And as it progresses, it really stabilizes to the point where you feel that you're getting the draw that is intended. It shouldn't be an open draw for this cigar. I wouldn't want it to be. I think it would disturb the force within this cigar. I think that it's meant to have the draw that it has. And starts off conservative, evolves, really is just perfect draw for me. Yeah, I like an open draw, but it depends on the cigar. So with this cigar, you know, 6 1/4 by 54, these Nicaraguan tobaccos are just, they're really good. They're really good. And yeah, sure, buy a few, age a few, smoke one after a few months. I like to give these a few months of aging before trying them. I really do feel that it really improves the flavor profile on the cigar. It just improves the whole experience. So, look, Viaje, Andre Farkas, the blender of Viaje Cigars and the owner, I just think they're doing a great, outstanding job here. Thank you for watching. Till next time on Backyard Cigars. Let me know in the comments what you think.